I'm back with another episode of Danganronpa 2, Goodbye Despair, and in the last episode I got pissed at Kazuichi for making me having to repeat myself unnecessarily, and also making me lose a bunch of health unnecessarily as well. Ignoring that fact, we'll just press on with this trial even further.
What did you say?
Who cares about the duct tape? Might as well settle this with rock, paper, scissors.
We don't need to play a game. It's clear the duct tape was on his mouth before the torture even began.
Why do you always side with Hajime? Do you have a crush on him or something?
Are you in elementary school or something?
You were with us when I peeled the duct tape off Nagito's mouth, right? The blood on Nagito's face wasn't under the duct tape, remember?
Wish I could just
The
say
blood
that.
on his face came from his arm wounds, which means the duct tape was on his face before his arms were even wounded.
And the duct tape had a lot of crinkles around his mouth. He must have been struggling to open his mouth under the duct tape.
Perhaps the duct tape was used so he wouldn't be able to scream. Then it's like I said at the beginning. The tape wasn't for torture. It was to keep his mouth shut.
However, if they wanted to seal his mouth, they did not need to hurt him with such ferocity.
They probably had a deep grudge against Nagito.
Then, are you saying the killer was trying to make him suffer?
Mm-hmm.
If so, it's friggin' crazy. Did they go psycho or something?
No, they didn't just go crazy. Whoever did this must be one crafty bastard. If not, they wouldn't have taken the time to set fire to the crime scene and destroy all the evidence.
The warehouse fire was for destroying evidence?
I don't think it was really for destroying evidence. I think it was to reveal evidence, maybe.
You can't think of any other reason.
But who could have done that? When the fire occurred,
Again, Sonia's not there.
everyone in this room was gathered in front of the warehouse. Yeah, and right after I opened the warehouse door, the flames started burning from the very back.
To keep us away
Which
from them.
means it is plausible to think that nobody here set the fire.
The killer isn't one of us. But that's not the case, huh? I mean, it's wishful thinking.
Even if it was only a coincidence, the timing was just too perfect.
Based on the pattern up until now, we should suspect that some kind of setup was used for this. Some kind of setup? Like what? I do not know that, but that has been the pattern before.
That's our Miss Sonia. You have such an amazingly high intellect. Alrighty then, let's think about this based on what Miss Sonia thinks. Is that okay, Miss Sonia?
Damn right it is!
The reason for the fire, huh? They're right. We need to clear that up first. Well, I already know how that operated. But I don't know if I'll be able to use it to my advantage like this. Monokuma panels or oil lighter, one of the two. What set the fire initially is probably...
The direct cause of the fire was the oil lighter found at the crime scene, right?
The killer used some kind of setup.
Mm-hmm.
He lit the curtain on fire with the lighter.
Some kind of setup?
Did they use the oil as an improvised fuse?
They probably just threw the lighter. Based on the shape of that oil lighter, it can stand upright while the flame is lit.
If they tipped over the lighter in some way, it could have ignited the curtain.
Some way?
Maybe they used invisible thread.
There should have been a way to tip it over with sound waves.
Or perhaps opening the door caused
Ding 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 ding!
intense wind pressure to tip over the lighter.
Wah, wah. I was wondering why it wasn't a complete thought. Some kind of setup was used to start the fire, so what could it be?
The direct cause of the
Skip
fire
all the way to the end.
Some kind of setup?
Did they use the oil?
It was like near the letter, the second letter I in Finnish.
Some way?
Maybe they used invisible thread.
Here.
There should have been a way to
Nope.
tip it over with sound waves.
After you.
Or perhaps opening the door caused
Okay. Okay. I wasn't sure if there was any pink there before I launched it.
I also agree that opening the door is what started the fire.
Just as I thought, It was the wind pressure! A dust devil blown here from glorious Japan!
No, not wind pressure. They probably used the Monokuma panels. A huge number of tipped-over Monokuma panels were found at the crime scene, right? It looked like they were scattered everywhere, but some were laying on top of each other in a single line. Just a single line leading from the warehouse door to the fire's origin.
Does that mean anything?
The killer probably arranged those Monokuma panels to create a domino effect.
A domino effect. You mean those tiles kids play with by lining them up and tipping them over?
Mm-hmm.
In place of those tiles, the killer used the Monokuma panels. So when we opened the warehouse door, the first panel toppled into the second. And from there, they fell like dominoes until they reached the lighter at the end.
Still uncertain as to how... Actually, this helps me understand a little bit more because it's telling me where the scorch marks end and how the rope was burnt and where the last pillar was in regards to it. Because the Monokuma plushie looked unaffected, that was stabbed. So where the fuck? And how did the person leave? Unless they're behind those cardboard boxes, and there's more than we don't even know about. Maybe.
But wouldn't it be obvious that those big panels were falling over?
That's probably why they turned off the lights in the warehouse, so we wouldn't notice them.
Okay, yep, that also makes sense, because I was just like, yeah, along with Fuyuhiko, we would have seen that happen, so...
So the reason the warehouse was dark was to hide the domino effect.
Mm-hmm.
And one more thing. There was something else the killer did to hide the domino effect, right?
The killer did one other thing to hide the domino effect. It was... Do I use the oil lighter? Just to set fire to it?
Crap!
No, that's not it. I need to think it over one more time. What would they have done to hide the domino effect? Oh, the music to hide the sound. Yeah. Okay. Da 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 da.
I see!
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I was thinking about it all wrong.
Talking about the MP3 player, right?
Or did they mention sound and I just zoned out for a second? Maybe they mentioned
That hymn
sound.
blaring throughout the warehouse masked the sound of the falling panels.
Mm-hmm. Okay, the inside of the warehouse felt even darker because our eyes were still used to the bright sunlight outside. Within that darkness, a loud hymnal blared throughout the warehouse at full volume. Hey, do you guys hear something? Yeah, it's really damn loud. Does Nagito like listening to this depressing crap? No, I'm not talking about the music. And as if on cue, it suddenly started. Yeah, she really just does have superhuman hearing. She heard the sound of the stuff tipping over.
That's it. So the strange sound was actually the sound of the panels falling.
God, she's great.
But those sounds weren't the only strange thing, right? Looking back on it, it was also strange when we opened the door to the warehouse.
It's fine. I'll open it slowly. No, that's not the problem. Seriously, it'll be fine. With those words, Akane brushed off everyone's warnings and slowly opened the door to the warehouse. Again, with that weird noise that just didn't sound that effective. It's not opening. Is there something blocking the door? I can barely open it. I knew it. It's a trap. Seriously, just stop it, okay? Didn't I tell you it'll be fine? I just gotta use a little more force. What happened to open it slowly? Akane ignored their protests, and with a mighty kick, the door flew open. Bam!
So the door was being blocked by a Monokuma panel.
Which, I still don't know how that was possible, because I don't know how heavy they are.
And when we opened the door, the domino effect started, and the falling panels eventually reached the lighter.
Yeah, and that's how the warehouse caught on fire. At least, that's how it looks.
You don't look so sure.
At the time, Akane mentioned that she could barely open the door.
Because the panel was blocking it, right?
With the blocked doorway, there wasn't enough space for a person to fit through, right?
Is that a problem?
It's a major problem. I mean, that door was the only entrance to the warehouse.
If that door was the only entrance to the warehouse... I see, so the problem Chiaki's talking about is... They couldn't... the killer couldn't have left, and that's been what's been on my mind the entire time.
I see!
A locked door problem.
If the panel was so close to the door that it could barely be opened, the killer inside the warehouse wouldn't be able to leave, right?
Now that you mention it.
Does that mean they were hiding inside?
Who? We were all outside the warehouse, you know.
Based on the patterns up until now, I believe some kind of setup was used.
You don't have to think so hard. There's actually only one person who could have possibly done this.
I'm thinking Hajime would have set that up and maybe tied the ropes himself? I don't know. Huh?
You don't mean...
So did he kill himself? Like... Wait, was it mentioned that the slash on his arm was done before or after he was stabbed? I don't remember if that was mentioned. But if that's true, this murder
Hajime? What do you mean?
is actually a suicide. The person who set up the domino effect inside the warehouse, there's only one person who could have done that. But I'm still wondering about all the torture shit, unless he did that himself too.
This is my answer. What if it was Nagito?
Why'd you bring him up? He's the victim, you know.
He wasn't just the victim. Maybe.
Maybe he just had it dangling. Maybe he had set up everything with the spear above him. And we were supposed to see him about to kill himself to... I don't know. I don't know the reason.
Huh?
Not just the victim? What does that mean?
He was the victim. And he was the perpetrator, too. Maybe.
Are you saying this was a suicide? Don't be stupid. His body was covered in torture wounds. Or did you already forget? Are you saying those were all self-inflicted?
I don't know about all of them. I think some of them.
But Nagito might do something like that, don't you think?
That's not the issue. He was tied up, remember? Even for a creep like Nagito, it'd be impossible for him to tie up his own arms and legs.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, as long as you understand.
It seems we need to discuss how Nagito was able to tie himself up.
He had one arm available to him to tie up everything else. That would make sense. But how does the knife get in? Maybe this murder was made more difficult? Maybe he set everything up. Killed himself with the spear. No. No, because then how would the blood end up on his own hand then? If he just let it fly to kill himself. And why was it on his left hand that the blood was? But not the right, and his right hand was stabbed. I don't know.
Need to discuss? That's not necessary at all. No matter how much you think about it, it's clearly impossible.
Like he said, it seems impossible if you think about it, but... Wait a minute, maybe I'm thinking about it all wrong. Maybe while he's holding the thing is when he's getting slashed, and he's just holding it to stop it. And then everything... Yeah, because his hand is tied back. He's still got it in his hand. It's the The top part of his hand is facing away from everything. That's how it's not ending up on there. And then after he dies, he just lets it go. No. No, because the killing blow was the spear. So why would he let go? Obviously from all the pain. So he's obviously holding the thing in his hand. And then he lets it go after a while. But how does he stab his own hand? That's the only thing that I can't fathom, is how that's set up. I feel like I'm overlooking something. I would think this... Burned rope, duct tape. Is there only 5 here? Torture wounds. I think there's 6.
To actually tie up your
Oh,
own
7.
arms and legs. That's obviously impossible.
No.
Tying just the legs is one thing, but tying both arms would be impossible.
You couldn't do much with the free arm.
It'd be impossible if you were by yourself.
How about if you use your teeth? Or if you use your front tail?
Dirty joke! Is that a dirty joke?
Okay. If our assumption that Nagito committed suicide is correct, Nagito should have tied himself up, too. That's okay, right?
To actually tie up your own arms and legs. That's obviously impossible.
Tying just the legs is one thing, but tying both arms would be impossible.
You couldn't do much with the free arm.
Okay.
It'd be impossible if you were by yourself.
How about if you use your teeth? Or if you use your front tail?
Dirty joke! Is that a dirty joke?
Monokuma plushie. Oh. Our assumption that Nagito committed suicide is correct. Nagito should have tied himself up, too. I think I have to agree with teeth? But how? What exactly are the... I need to look at all my bullets. That's okay, right?
To actually tie up your own arms and legs.
Torture wounds.
That's obviously impossible.
Tying just the legs is one
Burned
thing,
rope.
but tying both arms would be impossible.
Survival knife.
You couldn't do much with the free arm.
It'd be impossible if you were by yourself.
How about if you use your teeth? Or if you use your front tail?
Dirty joke! Is that a dirty joke?
Burned rope. Okay, the rope that was tied to Nagito's right arm burned off. However, Nagito's right sleeve still looked clean. I'm gonna try it. The thing that I have to refute is that it's impossible for him to have tied himself up, but... I don't know.
To actually tie up your own arms and legs. That's obviously
Well,
impossible.
whoops.
Tying just
I
a
have to
little
shoot
further
right
away.
at the beginning then, because otherwise it gets covered up.
Or if you use your
Dirty joke! Is that a dirty joke?
Gotta try it.
To actually tie up your own...
No, that's wrong. Hold on a sec. Isn't that premise flawed?
See, like, this is even a stretch for me, and I know that it's supposed to be right. Like, the only thing that I can imagine is that he still had the free hand to do everything else, but, like, what exactly am I trying to get Fuyuhiko to say that there weren't 4 ropes? Oh, that's what they're oh, now I understand what they're misunderstanding. Oh, he thought that all 4 arms, or all 4 limbs were tied up. And then the rope was burned. That, okay. Yeah.
What? I mean, it's no mistake that his arms and legs were...
Yeah. That specific. Arms. Yeah.
No, it shouldn't have been both of his arms. The rope on his right arm was completely burnt up. Based on that, you can't say he was tied up.
That was just burned by the fire. He should have been tied up before then.
It burned because of the fire. Like you said, it might look like that. But that was part of the trap. There's concrete evidence that proves it.
The proof that the burnt rope on Nagito's right arm is a trap is his right sleeve. Okay, I was like, what exactly is the answer?
Take a close look at his right sleeve.
His clothes not being burnt, or even his hand, hell.
Even though the rope was burnt up, his sleeve wasn't burned at all. Wouldn't you agree? A burn like this, no matter how you think about it, is unnatural. That rope was burned in advance so it would look like it was burned in the fire.
Then Nagito's right arm wasn't tied up, right? He was able to move it freely, right?
Yeah, that should be the case.
So how does the blood from the rope... Is rope right to say? Rope from the spear... Tether? Something. How did blood from that end up on the right side of the girder? Unless I'm misinterpreting it in my head. Because I could understand... because the spear goes through his chest, stomach, right here. The girder, I think, would be over here. He's got it in his left hand. So the rope would have to go over and down into his left hand. He gets slashed in the arm. Are the stab wounds on his legs self-inflicted, or are they inflicted by someone else? I don't know.
Hajime, that's awesome! I'll let you cop a feel if you want.
Why is that your first... Okay.
Akane, you should not give it away for free. Make sure they pay you first.
Okay.
That's definitely wrong.
Coming from the Yakuza. Huh. Interesting.
Fine. I just gotta get a Benjamin from him before I let him touch me, right?
That's not what I meant. I'm talking about Nagito.
Oh.
I mean, even if his right hand wasn't tied up, the knife was still stabbed into it, you know?
It's impossible to stab a knife into your right hand with your right hand. Ah, that much is obvious.
Hajime, you tricked me! Give me back that Benjamin!
You would still have it. What? That transaction doesn't make sense. Not only did she try to charge me, now she wants the money back? What the heck?
Hold on. There should be a way.
Then hurry up and spill it.
If it's something lame, I'll make you give back the Benjamin with 10,000% interest.
A way to stab yourself in your right hand using only your right hand. Throwing it up in the air and getting lucky? It's okay, there's definitely an answer for this. I don't know, like, this has been on my mind as well. Like, I don't know how. Torture wounds, burned rope, survival kit, survival knife, Monokuma plushie.
Even if Nagito's right hand was free, how could he stab his right hand with his right hand?
With his right
He threw the knife
hand.
into the air and let the knife fall. Could he stab his hand that way?
Is he a throwing knife expert?
Psh.
Maybe he propped the knife somehow? And slammed his right hand down on it?
Propped it onto what?
If he just propped the knife, he could have used his bound left hand.
No.
If you're tied up, your arms won't bend that easily. We don't know if his left hand could even reach his right hand.
Oh, 9 seconds back for that. I have to agree with Chiaki, but with what? If Nagito could only use his right hand to stab him in the palm, then how did he do it? Wait, do I just have to use the knife itself? And like he just stabbed it the other way? Like I could understand like if the knife was propped up and he just stabbed it palm side down. Well, what would I use to agree with her? Survival knife. A survival knife that was stabbed into Nagito's right hand. The knife is from the military base. It's safe to assume that the wounds on Nagito's legs and left arm were caused by this knife. Okay, let me see what all I have to...
Even if Nagito's right hand was free, how could he stab his right hand with his right hand?
Survival
If
knife.
he threw the knife into the air and let the knife fall, could he stab his hand that way?
Monokuma panels.
Is he a throwing knife expert?
Maybe he propped the knife somehow? And slammed his right hand down on it?
Propped it onto what?
If he just propped the knife, he could have used his bound left hand.
If you're tied up, your arms won't bend that easily. We don't know if his left hand could even reach his right hand.
If Nagito could only use his right hand to stab himself in the palm, then how did he do it? How did he prop it up?
Even if Nagito's right hand was free, how could he stab his right hand with his right hand?
If he threw the knife into the air and let the knife fall, could he stab his hand that way?
Is he a throwing knife expert?
Maybe he...
Monokuma plushie, I doubt is right. Alright, a life-size Monokuma plushie that was found on the floor near the fire's origin point. It has a huge bloody hole in its stomach as if it was stabbed. But there's also blood. Oh, was the knife in the plushie? Maybe? I'm glad that it just happened to be there when I looked at it. But I'm trying to imagine how it's set up.
The life-size Monokuma plushie. He must have used that to prop the knife.
Makes sense. That's why there was a big hole in the plushie's stomach. He inserted the knife handle into that hole to prop it up. Then
Oh.
he slammed his hand onto it.
That's why there's a circle there. Gotcha. Okay. I was so confused about that. Yep. Now it makes sense.
If that's it, he had to place the plushie near him. And it also explains the mysterious blood on the plushie.
So the blood on the plushie came from Nagito after he stabbed the knife into his own right hand.
I see. So that's the trick.
So then how did he wave it away?
But for a moment, I seriously thought Monokuma died or something.
A bleeding plushie is super scary. It's got the same fear factor as a doll whose hair grows too long.
After stabbing his hand, he no longer needed the plushie, so he cast it off toward the fire's origin point.
Which actually could have caused everything to set off already before we even got there.
He probably thought the fire would incinerate it and destroy the evidence.
So what do you think now, Fuyuhiko?
I get what you're saying about the wound on his right hand, but there's still one huge problem.
The leg wounds?
The spear.
Oh.
Basically, you're saying Nagito committed suicide by impaling himself with a spear, right? If you think about the order, getting killed by the spear should have been the last thing to happen to Nagito. If that's true, how is that possible? He can't grab a spear with his right hand if a knife is stabbed into it and his left hand was all tied up.
This is all really shaping up to be just him. But I feel as if like there's more to this. Like, there's something going behind. I don't know. Also, this trial can be really short, I think.
Then he probably took the spear first, and as he endured the pain, he stabbed the knife into his right hand.
There is a limit to his constitution. If you got penetrated by something so big and thick, you would die instantly.
These fucking writers. Kazuichi.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch all that.
Like I said, if you got penetrated by something so big and thick, you would die instantly.
Say it one more time. I need to record it. For reasons.
Hey, bastard, you better cut it out.
Thank you, Fuyuhiko. Like, I'm giggling to myself, but at the same time, I want to be Fuyuhiko.
Like she said, in that condition, it's very difficult to stab yourself with a spear. It'd be hard to use a spear with a knife stab into your right hand while your left hand is tied up.
So you're saying it's impossible?
But no matter what I think, I can't believe Nagito's death was caused by someone else.
I also agree with that. To think that one of us could kill someone with such cruelty, I could never believe that.
You say you can't believe it? You just don't want to believe it, right? But that's why you keep getting betrayed over and over again, right? Same goes for this time, too.
You just shut your mouth. It's against the rules to interfere with everyone. If you even think about doing anything, I have a plan of my own.
There we go, Monami. There we go.
Monami's sassing me.
But it's just as Monokuma said. We've been betrayed over and over again so far. So this might also be the same. Calling this a suicide takes too much for granted, and it's too convenient.
Then are you saying there is a killer among us, Kazuichi?
Of course that doesn't include Miss Sonia and me.
As Kazuichi said, it's true we've been constantly betrayed. But even if I'm betrayed again, I still want to believe in everyone. No matter how many times I may be betrayed, I still want to believe in everyone.
I also want to believe that there's no killer, but suicide is unimaginable.
Do you really think so?
I don't know why he would think it's unimaginable.
But you said it too. It'd be impossible for him to stab himself with a spear in his condition.
No, it's because it was set up beforehand.
I did say difficult, but I never said impossible.
Huh?
I feel that there's some way he could have stabbed himself with that spear.
What kind of way?
I don't know.
You don't know.
Well, I've already figured it out. But I'm still trying to piece together as to why would he go to the trouble of killing himself if he's trying to drag out... I don't know.
It's impossible to figure out by myself. So let's think about it together. That's how we made it this far up till now.
Everyone working together.
She's right. We've made it through several ordeals up till now by doing that. Then even now...
All right, let's do this.
Logic dive? No, argument. Okay. Blood on the left hand. Blood on the left hand immediately. Oil later, Monokuma. Yeah, this is the only thing that I can think of right now.
How did Nagito stab himself with a spear? Let's work together and think this through.
When the spear stabbed Nagito, his right hand was covered by the knife, right?
He was only able to move his left hand.
But his left hand was also tied up.
Then that rules out his left hand. If that's the case, the only other way is...
He used his teeth? Or maybe he used his front tail.
Again with that.
I know guys have tails that get hard when they're grabbed.
are you saying?
A blushing Miss Sonia is freaking awesome!
Okay, so I think I have to refute the one where it said, like, using his left hand is out of the question. If Nagito committed suicide, then he must have used that spear to stab himself. Even if his arms and legs were tied up, there's no doubt he used some part of his body. The only thing he could have used is...
How did Nagito stab himself?
Let's work together. When the spear stuck, his right hand was covered by the knife, right?
He was only able to move his left hand.
But his left hand was also tied up.
Then that rules out his left hand.
No, that's wrong.
Hold on. It's still too early to dismiss the possibility that he used his left hand.
I'm still pondering how the fuck the blood ends up on the girder, because it's only on one side, right? And it's on the side that is closest to him. I can understand the blood, like, leaving where he is, like, because he's letting go. It goes on the side that it hangs on, but then the weight catches up and it bounces over. But the spear's already going down on the projected route. The weight just goes any which way, so there shouldn't be any on the side that they can see when looking at the body. I just don't understand that part.
Why? I mean, his
Suspension of
left hand was
disbelief, I
tied
guess.
up, you know?
But there was something off about his left hand. The bloodstain on the palm of his hand. Don't you think it looked somewhat strange? He only had blood on the lower area of his palm. Beyond that point, the bloodstain suddenly cuts off, right?
When the blood splattered, that's as far as it reached, right?
That settles the description of that bloodstain. But it's not the only unnatural bloodstain. Look, there's blood on the back of his hand, around the middle joints of his fingers.
Like you said, it looks like an unnatural bloodstain, but what's wrong with that?
We might need to think and use our imaginations for a bit.
Yay! Logic
There's
dive!
blood on his palm and the back of his hand. What was his left hand doing as the blood splattered?
It was clenched. What was Nagito's left hand, doing when the blood splattered? Ripping. Back of his hand was exposed. Open, hiding. Yeah.
I see! When the blood splattered, he was probably gripping with his left hand. That's why there's such a strange-looking bloodstain on his palm.
You know what'd be-
and the back of his hand.
You know what would be interesting? Is if, like, he held it like this, like a proper fist, but, like, obviously you have to hold it like this. If you could see the outline of his thumb. Because everything is evenly covered, and then, like, the outside of his thumb, so, like... I don't know.
Was he grabbing his front tail?
Kane, I love you, but you gotta stop.
Here's the thought. He was obviously grabbing the spear.
Well, not exactly.
Now that you mention it, compared to the rest of his body, the wounds on his left arm are pretty mild.
Mm-hmm.
He probably made his wounds mild on purpose, so he could keep his strength while he gripped the spear.
Well, that, and I also thought, like, a slash is the only thing that he'd be possible to do with, like, his arm and trying to spread blood up there. I don't know if that was on purpose or not.
But even if he held the spear with his tied-up left hand, it'd be impossible for him to stab himself.
That's right. That's the problem.
Hey, Chiaki, what do you think?
Oh, come on.
Hey, don't tell me you're getting sleepy.
At times like this, you should always strike from a good angle. Just like fixing an old TV.
Oh, I got it. Maybe.
Really?
Yeah, like I thought. It's no mistake that Nagito was gripping the spear. I think.
Spear?
However, what's important is
Okay.
what section of the spear he was gripping.
Okay. Which section of the spear was he holding on to? Oh, they call it a cord. Okay.
I see! That's it. Instead of the handle, Nagito must have been holding on to the cord. There was a metal weight at the tip of the cord, but there were bloodstains on that part too. Plus, the joint between the weight and the cord had a bloodstain shaped like it was cut off by something.
Isn't the size of that cut-off section about the same size as a human fist?
Ah, you're right. So this is the part Nagito was gripping, huh?
Mm-hmm.
And then the blood that was supposed to end up here ended up getting on Nagito's left hand.
I was just talking about that. You should be able to see where his thumb was lying on his fingers. What the fuck?
But why is it so important to know which part of the spear he was gripping?
You're not gonna say he gripped the tip of the cord, swung the spear around, and stabbed himself, right?
Nope.
That is where the clue to solve this mystery resides. Right, Chiaki?
I wonder who I'm gonna have to dance battle against in the
I'm
end.
sorry. Of course this mystery will not be solved that easily.
I feel as if like this one can go really quickly. Nagito was gripping the cord extending from the butt of the spear with his left hand. But from there, how would he stab himself in the stomach with the spear? Logic dive?
It seems we are stuck. Shall we have tea time?
Oh, probably intermission.
At a time like this, how about we stick to the plan to think one step at a time instead of expecting the answers all at once?
I mean, it's pretty simple.
That's a long plan name.
One step at a time? What does that mean?
Let's focus on the spear first. Namely, where it was and how it was positioned just before it impaled Nagito.
From up above.
How it was positioned.
Up above. Nagito was facing up, and the spear was stabbed through his stomach. So if it's just before that... That's it. Could it be the state of the spear and the fact that Nagito was holding the tip with the cord attachment? If I put those together and think about it, I should be able to figure it out. Where the spear was and what the state of it was before it would stab Nagito. Up above! What the fuck am I... Oh, logic type. Okay. I was like, what the fuck could I be spelling now? Turning power. Oh! Okay. Throwing shit at me. Yahoo! No gaps I haven't seen yet. Where was the spear just before it impaled Nagito? Above Nagito. Oh god. Oh. I've readjusted my hand. That sucks. I readjusted my mouse to go back to centering it because I had to move it all the way over to where my What the fuck is that? Throwing new shit at me. Uh-oh. Outer edge. It was all the way next to my keyboard. Besides the spear, what else was above Nagito? A ceiling girder. Yeah, okay. I'm glad there was enough time for me to just end up in the right path, because... Maybe the turning power would be more effective on this. Well, if I can buy more points, then maybe possibly later. Okay. Yahoo! Yahoo! Question 3. What item connects both the spear and the ceiling girder? The spear's cord. Can't believe I took damage from... Uh-oh. Yo! One thing that I do like to do in my off time that this game brings up that I just haven't done in years. Actually, no, I did go, I think 2 years ago, or maybe last year when my sister wanted to learn how to do it, was snowboarding.
It's all coming together.
And I'm more someone who enjoys park stuff, so doing the jumps is actually really cool.
The spear impaled Nagito as he was laying face up. It must have been perpendicular to him just before that.
Perpendicular? In the middle of the air?
If Nagito did that all by himself, did he have some sort of ESP?
That'd be awesome, but he probably used the ceiling girder directly above him.
Nagito probably slung the cord over the ceiling girder, and using that as a support, he hoisted the spear directly above him.
I mean, this takes a lot of precision to do it effectively.
If Nagito let go of the cord, the spear would have fallen and impaled him while he was laying face up.
I noticed a slight red streak on the ceiling girder. It probably got smeared there during the setup.
Mm-hmm. And like I said, it's on the side that's facing us. So how the fuck?
The blood on the cord probably rubbed off on the ceiling girder as the spear was falling.
I still don't understand
So,
why he killed
how about
himself.
it? Using this method, Nagito could have impaled himself with the spear.
Seriously, like, why is this character so beloved? I don't fucking understand it at all. Like, he's a shit character. Like, he only made stuff difficult for me. Like, obviously, like, you learn stuff only from him from the characters, but he also made shit so difficult that it just didn't help in the end for me.
He really committed suicide?
Like, why did people like him so much?
He
Well, like that? Sorry.
probably chose that spear so he could commit suicide like that. If someone else did this, there's no reason they'd go to all this trouble just to kill someone with a spear.
I agree. When I was investigating this case, I kept thinking over and over how strange it was. Why did the killer use the knife and the spear so differently?
So you're saying he needed to use that spear to pull off his trick?
Then, this is for real? He really committed suicide?
So I don't have to spell anything
Every single wound on his body.
or dance,
That was all him?
I believe.
Not just that, he did all that while he was gripping the spear? That spear should not have stabbed Nagito until the very end.
Mm-hmm.
Which means Nagito wounded himself while he was gripping that spear, right?
Did he put the duct tape on his mouth too?
Yeah.
He probably covered his own mouth so we wouldn't hear him screaming in pain.
Did he need to go that far? That's beyond crazy. Why would he do that to himself?
Create despair for us to
He was
bring hope.
Probably trying to get us to make a mistake. By committing a suicide that looked like a murder, he was trying to steer us toward the wrong answer. His goal was to get us all executed.
That's why he stabbed himself over and over again?
Did he want us to die that bad?
That's messed up. That's seriously so messed up.
Yeah, that's our Nagito.
Jeez. I was starting to feel a little sympathetic toward him. How stupid of me. I completely underestimated his capacity for malice. A mind-boggling malice that threatens us even after he's died. That's the form his malice took. I'd forgotten all about it up until now. If he was here now, he'd probably be sneering at me. I swear to God, if he comes out of fucking nowhere.
However,
Okay.
there is one thing I still do not understand. He said he would reveal the traitor, right?
Which is why I'm still wondering why he went to this extent.
Whatever became of that?
He was probably planning to kill the traitor along with the rest of us.
So why did he not just do that in the first place? If he had no qualms with killing everyone, he did not have to cause a bomb scare to reveal the traitor.
I bet the bomb scare was part of the strategy behind this trick. He made us split up and search for a bomb so none of us would have an alibi. He created a scenario where any of us could have killed him.
He tried to make us doubt each other and tried to hide the truth behind his suicide.
Did he cause a bomb scare for that reason alone?
He's a fucking bastard who killed himself for his delusions of grandeur. It's not that unthinkable.
You are right, I suppose.
Yeah, it appears we've come to a conclusion. Bastard Nagito committed suicide. It was all done by him so he'd be executed.
So, what's all the shit with the poison and the the fact that Monokuma said that no one knew the identity of the bombs or whatever the fuck?
That should be okay, right? Right?
What? You're not satisfied yet?
No, I agree that Nagito killed himself, but I feel like there's something that doesn't make sense. It's probably just my imagination.
Which part? Why? I mean, I sort of understand what she's talking about. I don't think it's a mistake to assume that Nagito committed suicide, but why do I feel so uneasy about it? I've been thinking about it all the time, but I don't know. Is it because we don't know who the traitor is, or...
So what are you gonna do? Is it okay to proceed with the voting time?
What do you think, Ukane?
Well, there's no doubt Nagito's death was a suicide. Oh well, I guess my gut is wrong sometimes.
You are right. It is not as though we can draw any other conclusion.
Then it's okay to end it here, huh? That means we're done with this last class trial and we can leave this island, right? It's okay to reach such a happy ending, right?
Then it's okay? It's okay to say, you've decided on the killer?
I wonder if this class trial is gonna end here, but like we've collected all this evidence as well, and then like there's gonna be another trial-like thing in the next chapter?
Understood. Then voting time.
No, hold on a sec.
Hold on. Why?
Sorry, just a little more. I want you guys to wait just a little more. I can't help but feel like there's still something we overlooked.
Like who the traitor is?
But the issue here is who killed Nagito, right? Even if we identify the traitor, the conclusion won't change.
That's true, but...
The mystery isn't just about who the traitor is.
Huh?
No matter how you look at it, Nagito's death is a suicide. But I'm a little worried, you know? I'm worried about starting the voting time while there's still a mystery.
Hey, what do you mean it's not about who the traitor is? What kind of mystery is left?
There's just one thing that doesn't make sense, and it relates to Nagito's death.
Why he had all that shit.
Plus, it's something even Nagito couldn't influence. He couldn't even tamper with the evidence for it.
Something related to Nagito's death, and it's something that even he couldn't have messed with.
You're gonna keep going? Here I thought we were finally finished.
Okay, so here's the intermission, I think. Something related to Nagito's death. A piece of evidence that even he couldn't mess with. This? Or is it the fact that... This thing. Due to the fact Monokuma forged the traitor's profile, looking at this won't help identify who the traitor is. Is this what I'm supposed to present? I'm kind of lost as to what I'm supposed to do.
Crap!
No, this isn't it. Chiaki is worried about something else. Okay, something related to Nagito's death. A piece of evidence that even he couldn't mess with. Nagito's death. That he couldn't mess with. Monokuma's account, the fact that nobody knew that the bombs wouldn't actually do that?
Crap!
No. I'm really lost on this. Evidence. Piece of evidence that even he couldn't mess with. Sonia secretly used one of the bombs in the ancient ruins and found out that the bombs were fake. At the time, Monami was apparently peeking the whole time. Monami's notebook? The diary that Monami updated every day, or did she? According to Monokuma, Monami can't write. I really don't know. These were hidden in Nagito's cottage under his bed. Is this what I'm supposed to present? But it's with his death. So I'm thinking that I think I'm looking at the wrong stuff, but what? What couldn't he mess with? The body was discovered inside the warehouse near the Monokuma plushie factory. The estimated time of death is to be noon sharp. Not only is there a spear stabbed in his stomach, there are multiple stab wounds on each thigh. Furthermore, there's a laceration on it. That doesn't help. Found the fire's origin point. It looks like this is what caused the fire. I don't know. Sony's account. I literally don't know. Special poison. I'll try it.
Crap!
No. Something Chiaki Nagito's death. A piece of evidence that even he couldn't mess with. I'm literally gonna end up going through everything because I don't know. Even he couldn't mess with the MP3 player? The MP3 player that comes with the speakers, the music that was blaring throughout the warehouse when Hajime and the others arrived was coming from this. I would have thought that maybe the fire... What couldn't he mess with? Fuck it, I don't know what they're getting at, so I'm just gonna... Oh, fuck, I misclicked. Nope, shit. Didn't mean to do that. Nope, I doubted that one the most, but I'm still checking. I'm gonna go step by step. Yeah, gas mask and gloves. Something related to Nagito's death. It's... A lot of tipped-over Monokuma panels were scattered around in the warehouse. In one area, the panels seemed to be laying on top of one another in a straight, orderly line. I'm still gonna work through it. I don't care. This is bugging the shit out of me. I don't know what I'm supposed to present. We can move on to the next thing without... I know I've already talked about Monokuma's account. I don't really know. Sonya's account? Yeah, testing that. Nothing. Something that even he couldn't mess with. Blood on girder? I don't know if... I just did Sonya's account. MP3 player? Yeah, that's not it. Chiaki's worried about something else. I can't go on any longer. I don't have any other options. Everyone doubts me. It appears the trial has come to an end. Now then it is time to vote. You can only imagine. Okay. Somehow the people vote for me for some stupid shit. Yeah, I don't know how I'm just cast the vote just randomly. Drew blackened, yeah, and now the others will be punished.
This is our end?
Nope. What? Yes, retry.
Never give up.
What part can he control? Whether or not he dies? Is that what I'm supposed to keep moving toward? A piece of evidence that even he couldn't mess with. Oil lighter. No, this is pissing me off. Monokuma panels. Is it gonna be the plushie and how it survived or some stupid shit like that? I literally have no idea. Because everything else, I feel as if like I've already used that he's manipulated. Blood on the girder, yeah. Something related to Nagito's death. And next is Monokuma plushie. No. What the flying fuck? Spear of Gungnir. What could it possibly be? Duct tape? I'm gonna fail this twice from going through all this shit. Blood on left hand. Okay, game. Evidence that you can't even mess with. Survival knife. I swear to God, if it's the file. Something that even he couldn't mess with. The burned rope. If it gets down to the fucking file, and that's it. What connection are you making right now?
Is it about the Monokuma file?
What? What a part about this? I should have read this from the beginning. The victim is Nagito Komaeda. The body was discovered inside the warehouse near the Monokuma plushie factory. The estimated time of death is believed to be noon sharp. Not only is there a spear stabbed in his stomach, there are multiple stab wounds. Furthermore, there is a laceration on his arm. Is it the fact that that he just can't mess with fucking time or some stupid shit like that? How? How? How are you supposed to make any connections with this? And why? Why? Okay, we're looking into ending this episode, and by we I mean me, and by me I mean the fucking idiot who wants to continue playing this game right after he ends this. Ugh. Try and have a nice day.